I believe we're going to have to give I think we're going to have to get old Rodney a new webcam. There's something wrong with his, ain't they?
He just keeps disappearing.
I mean, is there something wrong with it? It's doing something weird.
I'm doing something weird.
I don't know. Can y'all see that? That's the new belt design for the tag team, Russell South tag team title.
Oh, beautiful.
Yeah. I did that.
It is great looking belt.
Rodney, did you say anything to Brennan after you found out about the Kevin Sullivan Facebook post?
What do you what Kevin Sullivan Facebook post? Did Brent praise Kevin Sullivan on the Facebook post?
Dan, what in the world are you doing telling on us? Jack told you he didn't have a Facebook page. Michael Barr is with us. Daniel Lang telling on me and Jack both. Neat design there, Jack. All right, now the first thing we need to do is Tony Anthony, right?
Tony and Tony.
Oh,
Tony.
Wait a minute, I got to find that. I think I deleted that email.
Tony. I can resend it to you. I can send it to you real quick.
I think I will send it, but I think I can find it.
Boom.
Was that boom?
There it goes. There we are.
All right, what's the other ones we're doing? Terry Funk?
Yep, and programs.
All right.
I will do Rodney on page 2, kind of closer to the top, where it's talked about Terry Funk then makes his way to Florida. I'll read 2 there if you'll pick up the rest of it.
All right, Terry Funk first.
And I'm okay. Say that one more
time.
Yeah,
let's do Terry Funk first because I got that pulled up.
Okay, so we're talking about down to where now?
Wait a minminute.
Where Terry Funk makes his way to Florida and championship wrestling for Florida.
Yeah.
Okay, and I'll pick up from there.
Yeah.
All right.
I did. All right, we are online. Because people said something. All right.
Yeah.
Going in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Pro Wrestling Inside and Out. On this video, we continue looking at Terry Funk's career. And, Jack, I think you're going to get us started.
January the 4th, 1967, at Fair Park Coliseum in Lubbock, Texas. Terry Funk and Bobby Duncombe defeated Alex Perez and Tora Tanaka. And then on January the 5th, 1967, at the Sports Arena in Amarillo, Texas, Dory and Terry and Dan Miller defeated Gene Kaninsky, Killer Carl Cox, and Tora Tanaka in a 2 out of 3 falls match. And then on January the 10th, Ector County Coliseum, Odessa, Texas, Tora Tanaka, Art Nelson, and the Destroyer versus Dory and Terry Funk, Dory Funk Jr. and Terry Funk, and Wahoo McDaniel. And then January the 11th, Fair Park Coliseum, again in Lubbock, Art Nelson and Brute Bernard defeated Dory Funk Jr. and Terry Funk. And then the Sports Arena on the 12th in Amarillo, Texas, Dory Funk and Terry Funk defeated Art Nelson and Pat O'Connor by disqualification. January the 15th, we go to the Civic Auditorium in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Bobby Duncombe versus Terry Funk, winner unknown. And then January the 17th, 1967, Ector County Coliseum in Odessa again. Reptile number 1 and number 2 versus Terry Funk and Salento Rodriguez.
All right, I gotta ask a question. What was these reptiles? Reptiles 1 and 2. Has anybody ever saw? I couldn't find a picture or nothing.
I don't know, but they didn't make spandex, snakeskin spandex back then, so they were having to pull something.
All right, I just wanted to know if anybody ever saw them because I tried to find photographs of them. I never saw them. I wanted to see if they really did look like reptiles or they were just snakes in the ring. All right, go ahead.
January the 18th, 1967, at the Auditorium Arena in Denver, Colorado, Chris Markoff and versus Terry Funk ended without a winner as a time limit draw. January the 23rd, Fair Park Arena in Abilene, Texas. Terry Funk and Salento Rodriguez defeated Professor Tanaka and Dick Steinborn. Then February the 2nd, Sports Arena in Amarillo again. Terry Funk defeated Dickie Steinborn, the champion, by disqualification to capture the NWA North American Heavyweight title, the Amarillo version, in a 2 out of 3 falls match. February the 2nd, 1967, Sports Arena in Amarillo, Texas. Dory Funk and Terry Funk defeated Mike DiBiase and Dick Steinborn in a lights-out match. February the 7th, Ector County Coliseum in Odessa, Texas. Dick Steinborn versus Terry Funk, winner unknown, lumberjack match. February 13th, Fair Park Arena in Abilene, Texas. Medics number 1 and 2 defeated Terry Funk and Salento Rodriguez.
Hey, you think them reptiles and them medics was the same people?
Could have been. They're sneaky. They're snakes.
But that wait. I'm sorry. That's Eddie Graham. That we're talking about Nick Goulas. I'm sorry. Let's go ahead.
February the 15th, 1967, Auditorium Arena in Denver, Colorado. Terry Funk defeated Waldo Von Erich by disqualification. And then on February 22nd, 1967, Fair Park Coliseum in Lubbock, Texas, the Medics 1 and 2 defeated Terry Funk and Dan Miller for the NWA Southwest Tag Team Championship.
All right.
Terry Funk then makes his way to Florida, Championship Wrestling for Florida. There you go.
There you go. Jacksonville's Veterans Memorial Coliseum, Jacksonville, Florida, on April the 6th, 1967. It's Ronnie Garvin versus Terry Funk, and it was a time limit draw. War Memorial Auditorium, Fort Lauderdale, Florida, on April the 7th, 1967. Terry Funk and Luis Torres versus Ronnie and Terry Garvin, winner unknown. Polo Grounds in West Palm Beach, Florida, on April the 10th, 1967. It's Terry Funk and Bronco Kelly defeating Rocket and Sputnik Monroe in a 2 out of 3 fall match. City Auditorium in Ocala, Florida, on April the 13th, 1967. The Great Malenko versus Terry Funk, winner unknown. National Guard Army, Lakeland, Florida, on April the 22nd, 1967. Terry Funk defeated Bill Dromo by disqualification. Back at War Memorial Auditorium in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, on April the 28th, 1967, is Hiro Matsuda versus Terry Funk. Jacksonville Veterans Memorial Coliseum in Jacksonville, Florida, on May the 4th, 1967. Terry Funk defeated Louis Tilley, National Guard Army, Lakeland, Florida, on May the 13th, 1967. It's the Great Malenko and Ronnie Garvin versus Terry Funk and Sam Steamboat. Awesome. Polo Grounds in West Palm Beach, Florida, on May 22nd, 1967. It's Sputnik and Rocket Monroe defeating Lester Welch and Terry Funk in a 2 out of 3 fall match. Then we head to the Miami Beach Auditorium, Miami Beach, Florida, on May the 24th, 1967. Jose Lothario and Terry Funk versus the Monroe, Sputnik, and Rocket. Jacksonville Veterans Memorial Coliseum, Jacksonville, Florida, on June the 1st, 1967. It's the Great Malenko, Sputnik, and Rocket Monroe defeating Jose Lothario, Walter McDaniel, and Terry Funk in a elimination match. Polo Grounds in West Palm Beach, Florida, on June the 12th, 1967. Sputnik and Rocket Monroe, along with the gentleman Saul Weingroff, defeated Jose Lothario, Lester Welch, and Terry Funk. Back at the National Guard Army in Lakeland, Florida, on June the 17th, in 1967. It's Duke Kamuka versus Terry
Funk.
Kia Mocha. And would you like that with cream or sugar?
Yeah.
Then in this, as Terry Funk would then return back to Texas, and he heads back there to the Fair Park Arena in Abilene on July the 17th, 1967. It's Dory and Terry Funk defeating Waldo Von Erich and Sonny Myers. Ector County Coliseum, Odessa, Texas, on July the 25th, 1967. It's Terry Funk, Jerry Kozak, and Luis Hernandez defeating Thunderbolt Patterson, the Medic, Jack Kane, and Ken Ramey in a 4-on-3 handicap match. Sports Arena, Amarillo, Texas, on July the 27th, 1967. Terry Funk and Ricky Romero defeats the Duke and Medic #1, Fair Park Arena, Abilene, Texas, on July the 31st, 1967. Thunderbolt Patterson defeats Terry Funk by disqualification.
That is, I believe, part 2. Terry Funk Park 3 Company. Terry Funk really had a tremendous career. And look at the people that he got to wrestle against and why he became one of the greatest wrestlers of all time. If you enjoyed this video, give us the big thumbs up. Subscribe to the page. Go one step further, hit that notification bell. And watch the video that is right below us right now. And it's another Terry Funk part 1 of Terry Funk. We'll see you in the next video right here on Pro Wrestling Inside Now. And
I was wrong. I had the Terry Funk. It's the other one I don't have.
Oh, you've got Tony Antoni.
Yeah, Tony Anthony. I don't
Tony
have
Antoni. Tony.
Tony.
All right, let's see.
I will fit. I'll fix that.
One of our favorite wrestlers.
Michael Barr said Norvell Austin should be in the top 100. I would agree with that. Norvell was tremendous. Rick Brooks is with us. Aaron Gartland is also with us. Hello, Aaron. Michael Barr. Y'all are all lost tonight. Well, we've always been lost. Oh, we're all named Jack Lord on this one?
Oh,
are we?
Are.
Hey!
Well, I'm going to fix that.
That's okay. When they watch this on YouTube, they can just put tape over y'all.
That's right.
That's all right then, and I think that's good.
They probably want to. Some people won't even pay attention to it. They go, "Wait a minute." I'm hoping they do pay attention to that. Maybe we'll get people talking about it. Thank you, Dan, though, for letting us know that. He says they're not paying any attention. Well, no, we don't pay any attention while we're doing the actual. Terry Funk is in the top 10. I believe Terry Funk is in my top 10 too. I'm pretty sure he is. Those Funks were tough. Yes, they were. I'm not for sure what Richard said there.
Yeah, not to get ahead of anything, but John Cena's on my list. Of course, you can't see him.
I believe now. I'm gonna be honest with you. I believe John Cena did make my list, and I never seen so many people heads turn when I put that on there. I have to give John Cena the credit for sticking around as long as he did. And it took him a long time for people to accept him at all.
Yeah.
But when they did start accepting him, he did have some decent matches with people, and he did draw some money. And I got to give him his props because, even though he made China mad, he actually was a very good person when it came to the Make-A-Wish Foundation. Yeah. I think he's one of the
he is the number one Make-A-Wish celebrity.
And let's be honest, he doesn't really want to make anybody mad because he would apologize to China, the wrestler, and the country.
Now, and he's coming back to WWE. He's got a film in breaking. He's going to come back for a few months.
Let's see. Dory was a great wrestler, but didn't have a personality like his brother Terry. Yes. See, that is true. That's the reason Terry really drew more money than Dory Funk did in long term. But now Dory did become a booker as well.
Yeah.
He did book Carolinas for a long period of time, Florida a long time. So Stewart said Rodney would have been very upset if we all were named Kevin Sullivan.
and Michael Barr is correct. We should have said instead of Terry Garvin, it should have been Terrence. He is right about that.
He is right. That's right. Fellows, my finger got stuck on the key. I don't know what that's OKV was. I thought, well, that's some Japanese that I don't understand. Michael Barr said, Brent, I grew up here in the Southeast, and I joined the Army at a young age, and not being in other tours, it makes it tough for me to find my topic. Yeah, and that is true because it's all about what you saw. Me and Rodney really were very fortunate that we got to see because when we were growing up, we were able to watch Georgia Championship Wrestling. We were able to watch Championship Wrestling from Nashville. we were able to watch it from Chattanooga. And then and then after that we got to watch World Class Championship Wrestling, Mid-South Wrestling. We got to watch Jarrett's show out of Memphis. So we got to watch a lot of wrestling during that point in time, and we got to move around and see some great matches. Somebody asked one time how many matches we had seen. I would think thousands. Wouldn't you, Rodney?
Oh, sure. Well,
I mean,
yeah, every bit of it.
Maybe 2,000.
And when we were growing up, when we first started going, when we left the arena, we would have no voice. I mean, we would have laryngitis the next day because we yelled the whole night. We were into it big time.
Yeah, we were. Yeah, we enjoyed we really enjoyed it. We enjoyed the wrestling business, and Terrence Garvin would have to have a pink mat to wrestle on TV. Yeah, and I know the other Terry Garvin tried to do that as well years later. I don't think it got as over as this Terrence Garvin. All right, y'all ready, Tony Anthony?
Yeah.
If it was too early in the morning, he wouldn't wrestle because he was just saying it's too early to be up.
Rodney, I will go.
Oh, go ahead.
Halfway down on page 2, it says by August '82, he made his way to Mid-South Wrestling.
Okay.
All right, and then where there's red, I'll jump in there.
All right.
Going in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Pro Wrestling Inside and Out. And Tony Anthony, part 2, he becomes the grappler. We'll talk about it. Jack?
January the 1st, 1982, County Hall in Charleston, South Carolina. Keith Larson versus Tony Anthony ended without a winner as a time limit draw. January the 2nd, Hampton Roads Coliseum in Hampton, Virginia. Private Jim Nelson defeated Tony Anthony. And then on the 6th of January, Ashland, Kentucky, Jim Garvin defeated Tony Anthony. January the 6th, 1982, WPCQ Studios in Charlotte, North Carolina. Ole Anderson and Ivan Koloff defeated Tony Anthony and Buddy Landale. January the 7th, Sumter County Exhibition Center in Sumter, South Carolina. Lord Alfred Hayes versus Tony Anthony. Then on the 9th, WTBS Studios in Atlanta, Georgia, Ron Bass defeated Tony Anthony. January the 9th at WTBS Studios in Atlanta, Ron Bass. I'm sorry, I got that backwards. Let me back up. January the 7th, Sumter County Exhibition Center in Sumter, South Carolina, Lord Alfred Hayes versus Tony Anthony. Then on the night, WTBS Studios in Atlanta, Ron Bass defeated Tony Anthony. And then in another taping, Mass Superstar and Super Destroyer defeated Tony Anthony and Grand Apollo. And then February the 6th, Morristown, Tennessee, Vinny Valentino defeated Tony Anthony. February the 17th, 1982, WPCQ Studios in Charlotte, North Carolina, Ole Anderson and Stan Hansen defeated Tony Anthony and Rick Benefield. February the 25th, 82, Sumter County Exhibition Center in Sumter, South Carolina, Doug Vines versus Tony Anthony. March the 3rd, 1982, back at the WPCQ Studios in Charlotte, Private Don Kernoodle and Private Jim Nelson defeated Tony Anthony and Ron Ritchie. March the 5th, 82, Jacobs Building at Chilowee Park in Knoxville, Tennessee, Tony Anthony defeated Rick Connors. March the 15th, Clover High School in Clover, South Carolina, Bill White versus Tony Anthony, winner unknown. And then I guess also the same date at the high school in Chester, South Carolina, Carl Fergie and David Patterson versus Tony Anthony and Kelly Kaninsky. April the 11th, 1982, Dobbins, Bennett Dome and Kingsport, Tennessee, Tony Anthony defeated Ken Timms. April the 17th, 1982, Greensboro Coliseum in Greensboro, North Carolina, Jim Dalton defeated Tony Anthony. April the 21st, 82, Charlotte, North Carolina, Angelo Mosca defeated Tony Anthony. And then on the 21st in Charlotte, North Carolina, Sergeant Slaughter defeated Tony Anthony. Then on the 22nd, Portsmouth, Virginia, Mike Davis defeated Tony Anthony. April the 23rd, 1982, Richmond Coliseum in Richmond, Virginia, David Patterson and Carl Fergie defeated Tony Anthony and Ray Stevens. WPCQ Studios in Charlotte on the 28th, Angelo Mosca and Killer Khan defeated Tony Anthony and Ron Ritchie. April the 30th, County Hall in Charleston, South Carolina, Ken Timms versus Tony Anthony, winner unknown. And then by August of 82, he would make his way to Mid-South Wrestling.
He did win a lot of matches during this one.
That was what I was going to ask. I think we need to go back and double check the ones at Dobbins Bennett Dome High School there. Tony Anthony defeating Kim Timms. And, of course, the one at Jacobs Building, Shell Howie Park. We need to double check those. I think they might be misprints.
By the way, Vinny Valentino, well, didn't that eventually become Ken Shamrock?
No, that's Vinny Valentino was a young guy, great shape, had kind of an afro type haircut, different guy.
Vince Torelli is what you're thinking.
Vince Torelli was.
Yes, Vince Torelli was that guy. Yes. By the way, there's no when you're looking at this, Tony Anthony had been wrestling long. Look at the people he got to wrestle against just during this period, even though he got defeated a lot during this time. But look at what he learned during that time. Because you know what? When you get beat up enough, Bruiser Brody did say this one time. He said, when you get beat up enough, you write it down and you learn how to do it. So he's learning how to do it right now, because when he gets to Mid-South Wrestling, it changes. He kind of starts and does get his big break, Rodney.
All right, here we go. So we go to the Rapides Parish Coliseum, Alexandria, Louisiana, on August the 21st, 1982. It's Jesse Barr versus Tony Anthony, winner unknown. Municipal Auditorium, Shreveport, Louisiana, on August the 27th, 1982. Tim Horner versus Tony Anthony, and that ended in time limit draw. Riverside Centroplex, Baton Rouge, Louisiana, on August the 29th, 1982. Buck Robley defeated Tony Anthony. Back at the Rapides Parish Coliseum, Alexandria, Louisiana, on September the 5th, 1982, Jesse Barr versus Tony Anthony. And, of course, that must have been a return match from the previous time. Riverside Centroplex in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, on September the 7th, 1982, Tim Horner versus Tony Anthony, and that was a time limit draw. And then at that point, Tony would get his big break as he becomes the Masked Grappler. 1980. And then we come up on September the 15th, 1982, at the Irish McNeil's Boys Club. It's the Grapplers, 1 and 2, defeating Tim Horner and Johnny Rich.
By the way, during this match is available to watch on YouTube. Go and watch this match, because Lynn Denton in this match does the Wrestling 2 dance and the knee lift in this match. Not very graceful at it, but he does it.
And I believe it was absolutely meant to be bad. It was meant to be that bad. Sure was. All right, now we come up to the Municipal Auditorium in Shreveport, Louisiana, on September the 24th, 1982. It's the Grappler number 2 defeating Jesse Barr. Then we go to Irish McNeil's Boys Club in Shreveport, Louisiana, on September 29th, 1982. Buck Robley defeated Grappler number 2.
This was a very interesting thing as well. It is available on YouTube as well. During this match, I'm guessing Iron Mike Sharp was a babyface in Louisiana.
Apparently,
I didn't realize this until I saw him at ringside with Wrestling 2, and they were keeping everybody away. I want to make one little comment about this. Buck Robley left. Did he not leave there and come to Atlanta, or did he leave there and become a booker in the Southwest Championship Wrestling? Because the Grapplers go to Texas after they leave here. But it seems like they only became a tag team to go to Texas. And you'll see what I'm talking about when Rodney goes through more of the showing what it's about. But Buck Robley beats, even after he gets his big break, Buck Robley has to beat him with the sleeper hold. All right, Rodney, go ahead. Well,
you could see that obviously outside interference from Rusty Mike Dolan Wrestling 2 allowed that to happen. It was cheating going on there, obviously. Rapides Parish Coliseum, Alexandria, Louisiana, on October the 9th, 1982. It's the Grappler number 2 versus Mr. Olympia. Back at Rapides Parish Coliseum the same night is Buck Robley, Mike Sharp, and Mr. Wrestling 2 against the Iron Sheik and the Grapplers. Riverside, Centroplex, Baton Rouge, Louisiana, on October the 12th, 1982. Mr. Wrestling 2 and Mr. Olympia defeat the Grapplers. Irish Boys Club in Shreveport, Louisiana, on October 13th, 1982. Junkyard Dog and Mr. Olympia defeat the Grapplers. Irish McNeil Boys Club again on October the 27th, 1982. Grappler number 2 versus Tony Atlas, winner unknown. Again at the Irish McNeil's Boys Club on October the 27th, 1982. It's Mr. Wrestling 2 and Buck Robley defeating the Grapplers. Municipal Auditorium, Shreveport, Louisiana, November the 10th, 1982. Buck Robley and Mr. Wrestling 2 defeat Grappler 2 and Marty Lundy. Interesting. Then we have
become Arn Anderson.
That's right. Irish McNeil's Boys Club in Shreveport, Louisiana, on November the 10th again in 1982. Chavo Guerrero defeats Grappler number 2. Lake Charles Civic Center, Lake Charles, Louisiana, on November the 13th, 1982. Kelly Kaninsky and Ted Allen defeat Grappler number 2 and Marty Lundy. The Grapplers will then make their way to Southwest Championship Wrestling, and they will go to Waco Convention Center, Waco, Texas, on November the 16th, 1982, the Grapplers versus Ken Lucas and Ricky Morton. Fantastic matches. Let me just tell you right now. Sam Houston Coliseum, Houston, Texas, on November the 26th, 1982. The Grapplers defeat Tiger Conway Jr. and Ricky Morton in a 2 out of 3 fall match.
Here's what I'm thinking. Did they just put Lynn Denton and Tony Anthony together for a very short time, knowing they were going to Southwest Championship Wrestling?
It's very, very possible. Very possible.
And that was the whole point of putting them together. They were going to be there for a while, and then they were going to. Does that mean that Buck Robley was on his way out? Ernie Ladd was on his way in.
That sounds about right.
And he was going because Buck Robley was actually in there after. Wasn't Buck Robley there after 1981? Wasn't he in Atlanta in 1981? Didn't he do the free birth thing in the 1980s?
Yes.
So this would have been the second time Buck Robley was booking in. I guess he was booking. Maybe he wasn't booking that. Maybe he was just working there. But I believe he might have went to book there because that's where they end up. Don Carson is the manager of the Grapplers by the time he gets there. Very interesting stuff. We'll talk more about Southwest Championship Wrestling. This is where Tony Anthony gets his steam. This is where he actually gets that big push. Even though he got a great push there, he was going against Wrestling 2. He's going against Buck Robley in the main events. But this is when he really gets his steam. Ken Lucas and Ricky Morton. Tremendous matches. If you have not seen them, you've got to see these matches. If you enjoyed this video, give us the big thumbs up. Subscribe to the page or go one step further. Hit that notification bell. And look down below. Tony Anthony, part 1, down below. Go check it out. We'll see you in the next video right here on Pro Wrestling Inside Now. Dan Lang asked me if I was still on my medications. Dan Lang, Iron Mark was a babyface in Mid-South feuding with Killer Khan over the Louisiana title, and evidently they were going to keep the Iron Sheik and the other grappler, away from ringside. That's what I'm gathering since they was wrestling against each other. Michael Barr. Great match with Tony Anthony, Lynn Denton, Jerry Stubbs, and CCW in Birmingham when Jerry Stubbs turned on Tony Anthony, unmasked Lynn Denton as the grappler. Yeah, that was some good stuff.
Yeah.
That was good stuff. I have to give it.
Is that when Lynn left?
He was only there temporary anyway.
I was going to say, I was there the night that whatever the deal was when he left. I just remember it.
Yeah, he was last night for a temporary thing. He was just, I think he wanted to come and be on the beach for a while.
Yeah, he was just coming through. And the thing about it is, really, if he wanted to, Lynn Denton should have stayed because that would have been great to have Lynn and Tony as partners again.
Great to see Ted Allen mentioned in there too.
Yes. Yeah. Vinny Romero, Ken Shamrock, are you still in the medicine for that?
I just posted a great match with Tim Horner and Ted Allen the other day on my Facebook. I mean, just a clinic in what you do right about professional wrestling.
Arn Anderson was a great tag team wrestler. Yes, he was a worker. Yes, Richard, he was tremendous. And whatever he wants to say, he learned everything from Jerry Stubbs. And
he got really he was polished. He had the groundwork, he had already done the groundwork, but he got polished. He became a decent wrestler and to an extraordinary wrestler once teaming with Jerry Stubbs, no doubt about that.
Yeah, he really did that. Buck Robley came to CCW in Dothan for a short time in the mid '80s.
Well, he would have fit in real good down there.
Who was the first grappler? Tony or Lynn Denton? Lynn Denton was the first grappler.
Yeah, you got to see the stuff with the grappler and Killer Carl Cox. That's some good stuff. That's some really great stuff.
Lynn was really good. Lynn was the grappler in Georgia in 1979 or 1978, wasn't it?
I remember him I don't remember him as the grappler. I remember.
Was he the challenger?
He was a challenger there, and then he was a challenger also in Knoxville for when he went up there for Georgia. But it was actually for whatever I want to call him, John Wolf. That is not his real name, but he did. He was the grappler in Georgia.
Gordon Nelson.
Gordon Nelson. Yeah.
Gordon Nelson. You're welcome, Jim Crockett Promotions. I'm not for sure what we're welcoming them about. Oh, man, is Mid-Atlantic Wrestling we're talking about.
Yes.
Let me see where I was at. Michael Barr, enjoy wrestling, still do. It's just not old school anymore. There's still some good matches out there. There's still some good matches. Too much comedy is all I have a problem. Yeah. The wrestling's all right. It's just too much comedy stuff in it. Who were the two that wrestled as the private and sergeant here in Southeast Edging? That's Private Pyle
and the DI.
Yeah, he's still around. We talked to him not long ago. You can look at what, about a year ago, I guess now.
Yep.
We got to get him back.
Yeah, awesome guy.
Private Pyle was Chief Jay Strombo's son. He has passed away now, hasn't he?
I believe so.
I think he passed away before Jay did. Joe Scarpa was his father's name, his real name. Michael Private Nelson was one of them. Well, Private Nelson, Jim Nelson, was in Mid-Atlantic Wrestling.
Yeah.
He came when he went full circle. He went like a circle when he left the Carolinas to become Boris Zukov or Zirkov, whichever. But they decided Zirkov was not a good name to use. So they started to call him Zukov instead. I could understand that because Wayne Ferris always called him the other.
They had to bleep it every time.
They had to beep him every time. Never failed. That's the reason Wayne was not allowed to do interviews in Georgia, okay? Michael Barr said it sounded like he got defeated a lot. Yeah, he did. And he got beat a lot, unfortunately. He did.
Well, that's part of the process, though.
Yeah.
He paid his dues.
It all changed when he bought him some long tights.
Yep.
He needed some extra support, and that's what it was.
Why didn't Robert Fuller wear them? Jack, we appreciate what you put on Facebook about pro wrestling. Buck Robley was the booker for Southern Championship Wrestling for Jerry Blackwell. Yes, he did the Wrestling 2 turn there. He did the exact thing they did in Mid-South. He did it with Tommy Rich there, I believe. I'm pretty sure it was Tommy Rich in Southern. All right, y'all ready to do this next thing?
Okay.
Do a tour.
Right, let me cut this off. I left Kamala on the last one for the first 5 minutes. Our names are right. Hey, Dan, our names are right now. I just want y'all to know that. Going at 5, and I have not. I'm through with my medicine. I don't have no medicine.
Michael, well, Rodney, your words speak for what you think for sure. Okay.
Going in 5, 4, 3.
What Michael was saying.
3, 2, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Pro Wrestling Inside and Out. We're going to continue our look at programs, and it's going to be programs today. I don't think I have any photographs in here at all, but we're going to look at these photographs. This is from Georgia Championship Wrestling. I believe our good friend Les Thatcher put this one together. I think he put this program together. Am I correct, Rodney?
I believe you are correct. I'm going to zoom in there, cameraman. Oh, there we go.
There we see Tito Santana.
He changed our border. And I want you to take a look. Jerry Lawler's the one that put this World Championship Wrestling logo together up here at the top. Do you notice anything out of whack? Championship is not centered.
I noticed this.
And they never fixed it until they changed the logo again. It always stayed like that. They even had letterhead printed just like that.
On the other side of this, somebody say something about Tommy Rich. Wildfire, Tommy Rich. All right. Now let's go into the inside. And Rodney, go ahead and tell people what it is because I cannot see it.
Let's see.
Hey, can you see it all?
Looks like Ole and Stan Hansen, possibly. Possibly then it's the Moondogs. And he has I don't know, he has a headlock on somebody. I don't know who that is.
That's Chief Joe Lightfoot.
Okay, it might be.
I think it's Stan Hansen and Ole Anderson. I'm pretty sure who that is. The champions.
Looks like maybe a lumberjack. Looks like one of those street fight bunkhouse matches.
Oh, you mean those that used to make sense? Yeah,
yes,
that's one of those.
And I'm gonna go over here. I'm gonna turn off the Pro Wrestling Inside and Out logo so we don't have that sitting in front of it. Les did a long thing on here that he would always do, but he did not say it was Les Thatcher doing it. You would think he would have put that in there because Freddie Miller always put it in there that he wrote the thing. Here is some more of. I have to give when he did this, he actually did stories.
Yes.
In his program. He just didn't put
it. Yes, he did. Paul Ellering and Ivan Koloff, Buzz Sawyer. That was after he got his head shaved by Butch Reed or Bruce, whichever you prefer. They were calling.
It would be who you're talking to. All right, it'd be
That's
right. This was there during the time that Bruiser Brody was there. It was during the time old Bruiser was there. Who's that they got down there?
Looks like that looks like Reed. Reed and Super Destroyer. Looks like Buzz Sawyer, but I believe that's Reed. They got stretched out there, and Ivan Koloff's loading his knee brace up. You got Paul Orndorff and the Iron Sheik, and that looked like maybe Bob Roop. Is that Bob Roop and Brad Armstrong?
Brad Armstrong. Yeah. I enjoyed his programs. It wouldn't be too long after that him and Ron West would get fired.
Yes, he wants to talk about that in great detail, by the way, on his next appearance.
Yeah,
he said that on our last interview.
Yeah, I can see that happen. All right, the American Dream, Dusty Rhodes, the Tower of Power there. And we'll share something on the back of this after, and then those will be the last one we do. But if I can get it open, World Heavyweight Champion Harley Race,
Georgia Tag Team Champions Ivan Koloff, Alexis Smirnoff, Georgia Television Champion Austin Idol, Georgia Heavyweight Champion the Superstar. There's Freddie Miller, Paul Jones. He was in the program for many years, just in that same spot. Bob Backlund, the WWE WF Champion, the Superstar, Kevin Sullivan, and Gordon Soley, and then Austin Idol.
Rodney will be all right with that, I think. He may not go into
this is before he decided.
At least the better wrestlers were on top of the page.
That was okay. Terry Funk and Mr. Wrestling number 2 in the center. Tremendous pictures there. And then we have Ray Candy, Tony Atlas, and Ken Patera, I believe, as Tommy Rich and the Superstar, Dick Slater, Andre the Giant, Ole Anderson, Killer Khan, and Wrestling 2 and the Superstar battling out blood on the Superstar there. It looks like the Superstar has a Georgia heavyweight belt, and they were fighting over it.
All right. By the way, this card that we're fixing to talk about, held in the Omni on January 27, 1980. This was a Ronnie West show. I believe they were in between bookers because he was the one that booked this show. This would be his show, and pretty good card. Pretty good card for this. And I'll let Rodney read it through if you can see it. Can you see that, Rodney?
I believe we do. In the first match, I'm going to start at the bottom. It's Charlie Fulton against Steve Travis, the Mongolians, managed by the Great Mephisto against Tony Atlas and Ray Candy. Eddie Mansfield against Dick Slater. Killer Khan against Tommy Rich. It's Bruiser Brody against the French Angel for the WWF Championship. I might have put too many W's in there. It's Bob Backlund defending against Toru Tanaka with the Great Mephisto. Georgia Tag Team Championship. Alexis Smirnov, Ivan Koloff against Ole and Lars Anderson. Georgia Television Championship. Austin Idol against Kevin Sullivan. Grudge match, Terry Funk against Dusty Rhodes. In the main event, it's a shackle match, the Superstar versus Mr. Wrestling #2.
That was a Ronnie West special right there, the shackle match was. He's the one that came up with that match. I'm pretty sure Ole took care of his own match that night, but I think the rest of it was all Dad took care of that one. That was in between probably Jim Barnett mad at Ole at that time about something. We've got so much other ones to show. I mean, we've got the program after program that we can show, and we will do so. We Stan Hansen. I think that's when he turns in Atlanta. We got Wrestling 2. We got another Omni card from July 27, 1979. So much to share in the next few weeks and months. Thank you so much. If you enjoyed this video, give us the big thumbs up. Subscribe to the page. Go one step further. Hit that notification bell. And watch the video that's coming up right below us right now. Right next to Rodney, but below me and Jack. Watch that video. Just one or the other. I'm not for sure.
There it is.
It's down there somewhere. We'll see you in the next video right here on Pro Wrestling Inside Now. There it is. That was that show right there. That one we just done. That little Jerry and Ted Oates on. But that one right there for that Omni, that was it drew a good house. Drew a major house in Atlanta. That's one thing we need to do. Omni shows. Just a whole thing of Omni shows. From the time they started doing the Omni, which was about 1974. Right.
Well, they also had another shackle match later. No, it wasn't a shackle match, was it? It was a lumberjack match, Wrestling 2 and a Superstar, right? And that's when the Omni went and did a huge crowd, and Barnett came back and told Dad that it wasn't a huge crowd.
Yes.
Wasn't that the one?
Yes.
See, for years, Dad was looked over to become the booker of Georgia over and over again. Okay. And so every time Barnett would be switching bookers, Dad would be the transition guy just about every single time. He refused to give it to him. Absolutely refused to give it to him. And I believe the reason that Barnett said what he said, he didn't want Dad to say, well, see, I told you I could do the job. Even though Dad wasn't pushing for it. But he told him one day, I said, the only reason I don't give you the job permanently is because if something happens and it doesn't work, I'll have to get rid of you. And you are too important to do other things that we need to do here to make you the booker. But he probably should have been. Dad had very good relations with the wrestlers. He could get more out of the wrestlers than possibly Ole could in lots of times. And he knew them. And quite honestly, the worst thing that happened to Dad was when they pulled him out of the ring. He hated it. And he added so much to it, and he could change things on the fly easy. And so it would have been perfect for him to do it, and he could have done the job. He could have done the job for sure.
Yeah, and they gave it to him several times. He did book Chattanooga for a long period of time. He doesn't get the credit for the Tommy Rich Buzz Sawyer feud, but without Dad, Buzz Sawyer would have never got that push. Well, I want to be honest with you. Without Tommy Rich messing up and not being able to go to Ohio, that probably would never work. That would have never happened.
Yeah.
But somebody had to be in Chattanooga, and that was the only two people. Was Tommy Rich Buzz Sawyer. The rest of the people on the cards were always local people. One time they used Tojo Yamamoto, George Goulas, tremendous house. Drew a tremendous house. Came back. This was what's so bad. Ole thought, oh, you think that, Drew? I'm going to put this card together. And he put a card in there and it didn't draw. Dad came back and did it again. And because he knew Chattanooga. He knew what.
Yes.
Ole didn't know Chattanooga. He knew Georgia, but he didn't know what drew in Chattanooga. And it was a completely different kind of wrestling that drew in Chattanooga.
And the fact of the matter at that point, and we talked about it even then, Georgia needed its own TV show. It did not need a TV show that was bicycled from TBS that people had already seen Saturday night. Georgia needed its own show and its own crew to work Georgia itself, and let the TBS show for going up north to Ohio. But it really did, and it showed with what Dad was doing in personalizing things in Augusta and in Columbus and in Chattanooga. It was coming up. It was coming up with that, because Dad would go into on Tuesday they would do the interviews, and so he would chop those shows up and put in such as the fight in Chattanooga on the stage. He'd put that in, and they would also do similar things in Augusta. And when Ole showed the entire package, it also showed from Augusta that they did basically the same thing with them battling on the stage there at the Bell Auditorium. And so he would chop those shows up and put this footage in and personalize those shows. And you would not see the same exact thing that you just got through watching the week before.
Yeah, he did some successful stuff. He also took Bobby Eaton, Ted Oates, put him on the main events in Columbus, Georgia, drew a ton of houses. Well, Ole wouldn't do that. And, and I'm telling you, if you see any matches that say a coal miner's glove match, you see any matches that say the loser's going to be tarred and feathered, that was not Ole Anderson. that was Ronnie West that came up with that. That was what Ole called the Tennessee BS. That's what he would call it. So if you see that in any cards, Ole did not do that. He would not have done it. Dad tarred and feathered people.
The hair match with Buzz Sawyer and Butch Reed was Dad's. That whole show was Dad's, where he shaved that basketball.
Yep, all done.
I think Reed's
kept that ball for many years.
Yes,
it had cut marks all over it.
Yep. Where Butch Reed saved, and that did a pretty good house too. Buzz Sawyer and Butch Reed did, and Reed would have gotten over it. But again, I don't think he was there to stay very long. I think he was just there as temporary, and they would get him on that national show, and then back to Louisiana or back to St. Louis he goes.
Do they even have programs anymore in any places that you go to?
No, I think we're fixing to try to start doing so.
Yeah, we just love the programs. No matter where we went, we try to do a program.
I'm going to do them because I just simply don't have enough on my plate as it is. So,
Rick Brooks asked, "Do you remember Chief Red Eagle?" Yes, I do. I remember seeing him on one card for Georgia and never seen or heard him again. He wrestled a lot of the different territories. I guess it wouldn't be most in the late '60s, wouldn't it? More than anything would have been late '60s.
Yeah, there was the only Chief Red Eagle that I can find he was born in Mexico City. He passed away in 2002.
I know on those a lot of those cards in Texas. He's on them.
Yeah, he passed away actually in San Antonio.
Michael Barr said, I really appreciate the art and time that Roman has put into wrestling. He did enjoy wrestling. That was his passion.
Yep.
Brenton Rudden, your dad could have done the job. Thank you so much. I watched while I was in Fort Gordon. Michael Barr, Ronnie West was not well known for sure in Dothan, Alabama, in many territories, and he enjoyed it. Georgia was the place that he enjoyed the most, though. He spent 11 years in Georgia, and he really enjoyed it. Plus, he was almost most of the time the second guy in line behind Barnett. That's the reason Ole probably fired him when he because he couldn't fire him all those other times. So when he got the chance, he fired him because he wasn't when Ole took over. It wasn't 2 months later, 3 months later, he fires him. And we do need to talk to Les about that.
Yes, yeah. Hey, Les wants to talk about that. I truly believe because I don't think Dad on that particular day said anything to Ole that he hasn't said in the past on that particular day. But we'll talk about that.
Let's remember when Ronnie had the heart attack and Ole stepped over him.
Yeah. Just said, "Wait, what are you doing in the floor?"
Yeah.
And then while he was out, the wrestlers tried to. He had this briefcase with the money in it from all the houses for that whole tour. He's sitting there holding it, and the wrestlers were trying to steal the briefcase from him the whole time.
I don't remember him dialing for the dollars, but we would have probably not watched any local shows.
No, I heard he was good. I would assume he would be good at that type of.
All right, guys, we're going to have to get off of here. It's about 9:17. Thank y'all so much for supporting our channel. We certainly do appreciate it. And maybe next week things we'll be giving more information about our show on October 8th. And don't forget, if y'all somewhere around Russell South, tickets are going pretty good there in Arab.
So yeah, ringside's almost completely sold out. So it's going good.
All right, thank you guys.
I was wanting to know what is there any territory that we wish we might have went to?
Well, I wish that I had gotten to wrestle in Georgia. I mean that's where I really became a huge fan. Was watching GCW. So
I don't know. Every place we went, we never liked being up north. And we really didn't. And I don't know if we didn't like the trips of it, because when we were in Kansas City, that was horrible. Beautiful places, beautiful country, just a beautiful place to be. But man, it wasn't like for some reason, you want to be in Dothan, Alabama. You didn't want to be in Topeka, Kansas. You want to be in Dothan, Alabama on Saturday night.
We didn't fit out of the Southeast very well.
We lost him.
Jack is gone. He'll be back. I would say if there's one that we didn't get to go to that we would probably like to, would probably been Florida.
Yeah,
that was one. Oops, I turned him off. You turned him on. I turned him on. I think.
And Florida then of course the California deal.
Yes, that's right.
I don't know. I liked every territory we was in, and if we could have stayed in Georgia for the whole time, that would have been tremendous. And I think Jim Barnett would have been stayed in power. The whole scope of wrestling would have been different.
Yeah. And if the next one would probably been Mid-Atlantic, Jim Crockett. That would have been if we would have been in there, not where we were up in Kansas City. No, that was a lost cause. But I'm talking about when he went over there originally.
Rodney with us, or is that just
in '83? I'm here. My camera's
on the
out
big screen. It's blank, and I can see him on the side screen, and he's just in one position.
Probably.
My camera's a little fuzzy tonight.
We're gonna have to do something with your camera. There's something wrong with it. No doubt, there's something wrong with it. I don't know what it is. All right, guys. Thank y'all so much. We'll see everybody next week. We will we'll continue our look. What we're going to talk about next week, I don't know yet. We'll figure that out as the week progresses. Thank y'all so much, and we'll see y'all